Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have with me the Galaxy M14 5G, and I'm going to share with you what for me are its strongest points and its weakest points in case you're considering buying it. So, as always, let me tell you, don't buy the Galaxy 14 5G without watching this video. Let's consider its launch price, which in Mexico is $3,499. On the screen you saw the reference price in dollars, but remember that the prices here are not the same as those there. Also remember that the complete review is available in case you want to consult it to know every detail of this device. This is simply going to be a brief summary. If the points I like the least hurt you a lot, surely this device is not recommended for you, but if not, it could become your next purchase. So let's start with what I liked the most. The screen comes protected with Gorilla Glass 5. At this price point, virtually no other device is going to come with this level of protection. Obviously, this doesn't mean it's an unbreakable device, but at least it gives you a little more assurance that if you accidentally drop it, it's more likely to survive. This device does give you an equalizer available without the need to have headphones plugged in. This can be useful for people who like to customize band by band how the device sounds. As in the price range, no other device gives you this without headphones connected. In fact, there are other devices that don't even give you access to an equalizer by connecting the headphones, so keep that in mind. It has a function for some applications to send their sound to a Bluetooth speaker, and other applications keep their sound on the phone. Samsung calls this app-independent sound, and it's a feature you don't find on non-Galaxy devices. It can be very useful when you are at a party and you put music and the speaker is playing with your Spotify, and then you get an audio WhatsApp and you cannot play it because it will sound on the speaker. Well, with this device you can tell it that only Spotify plays on the speaker and everything else continues to play on your cell phone. I think it's a super useful feature. The selfies are probably the best in its range. Samsung always tends to give you very good photographic results, and this will be no exception. It will give you very good quality pictures with this front camera according to its price. I'm not saying that the pictures are ultra spectacular either, but in this price range almost all devices take very simple selfies, but this one is above average. In fact, also the rear camera takes very good pictures both backlit and at night. These two environments are usually very complicated for devices in this price range, but this Galaxy M14 seems to me to solve it very well, balancing lights and shadows well, and using the night mode really pictures in low light conditions come out very well. Also, portrait photos will come out with very good quality. The bokeh effect generated in the background is very nice, and if it is able to detect objects that are at your same distance to give a very natural touch to the photos, unlike other devices that fail a lot in this regard. Also, the video recording is of good quality considering its price. Again, we will not be talking about an ultra-spectacular video because obviously you can find that in much more expensive devices, but in this price range is one of the devices that I like the most because if you have good stabilization and also the front camera records with good quality. It already has Android 14, has 2 years of updates and 4 years of security patches. I think in this price range, Samsung is the one that offers you the most things with respect to update support. So if you want to buy a device that you want to be sure is going to stay up to date over time, I think this can give you a lot of security because other manufacturers almost never guarantee a single Android update in this price range, but Samsung has dared. It also has modes and routines to automate everything. For example, you can have a school mode and automatically set which applications if you want to use, which applications do not, which notifications you want to receive and which notifications do not, if you want to put it on silent or lower the brightness. In short, you can automate everything you want, and with the routines is something even more advanced. And it is curious because Samsung generally in the Galaxy M series did not use to put these functions that generally come in their high-end devices. Now it has, and I insist that it is one of the most useful features because you can also enable everything automatically based on the time of day, your location, your battery status if you connect headphones through the jack. The truth is that it is very simple and it is not complex to create your own routines. It also brings the option of edge panels and floating windows. Again, these are two options that Samsung reserved for higher-end devices, but now we find it here. So we have a sidebar where we can have many tools, such as tools for screenshots or shortcuts for applications and many other things. And you know that in floating windows, Samsung is the king, so you can open multiple applications at the same time on the entire screen, greatly raising your productivity, although the device does not stand out for being very fast to say, but I'll talk about that later. For security, it comes well with Secure Folder and even Samsung's own VPN. It's not a VPN that allows you to change your location or anything like that, but it does keep your Wi-Fi connection a bit more private, useful especially when you're on public Wi-Fi networks and you're afraid of your information. I think it can give you a good backup. For free, you have some consumption that can help you with basic things, but you can even pay for a more advanced plan if you want to use Wi-Fi networks to download more information. It has a 6,000 mAh battery. In my test, it took me 4 hours and 10 minutes to discharge 50% of the battery, and that I put a heavy work running in the background while in the foreground watching videos. A task that, to give you an idea, devices that have 5 mAh batteries on average take 2.5 hours. So it really had almost 2 additional hours in 50%, and if you multiply it by 2, it is a device that really has a super good battery that also has to do, because the processor is very little powerful, so it is not going to consume as much energy. Like everything, it has pros and cons, but the battery wins by far. It also has support for 5G networks and also has NFC. If you don't know what NFC is, remember that it is a small chip on the back with which you can make contactless payments. You simply bring the cell phone close to the bank terminal, and when you have configured through Google Wallet your cards, you can make the payment without any problem, or even the NFC can help you link to a headset or connect to routers and other accessories simply by touching the back of the cell phone, which can be quite useful. It also has all the sensors, including physical proximity sensor. This should be noted because currently Samsung and other manufacturers are removing the physical proximity sensor, betting on a virtual proximity sensor to save costs, but that virtual sensor then gives many problems. Then it is appreciated that here we still retain a physical sensor even though it is a low-cost device. Cost. The Galaxy ecosystem is very broad. We have Galaxy Buds, Galaxy Watch, Galaxy Tab, and even on Windows laptops you can install Quick Share to send and receive files wirelessly, super easy. So really, in this price range, you will not find another brand that has so much ecosystem, so you can connect multiple devices at the same time. But not everything I liked. Let's go with what I didn't. Its distribution is online. It can become very complicated to find this device in a physical store, since Samsung gives priority to its own online store or also its official stores in marketplaces like Amazon or Mercado Libre. Although now with all this grey market, it will surely be much more complex, or it will cause you more fear to buy it in online stores. So really its distribution is very short, and that is probably one of its weakest points. The front is really underutilized. It has very thick bezels, a drop notch that overall make the device look like it's 2 years old. If not 3 years, because Samsung lately was increasing the size of the frames instead of reducing them, contrary to the whole trend with other manufacturers who are looking to take more advantage of the front. It seems that this issue is not in Samsung's priorities. It doesn't have fast motion and it doesn't have slow motion. If you are a content creator who wanted to use these options, you won't find it here. Maybe you can install some apps that try to have these features, but it's not the same experience. Even though it has a side fingerprint reader, it only allows 3 registrations. To give you an idea, all other manufacturers allow up to 5 enrollments, so here we have less versatility. If you are a person who usually enrolls 2 of your fingers and then enrolls the finger of a family member or friend so they can easily unlock your phone, you are very limited with this device. There is no charger included in the box. In a device of this price, it's almost unacceptable to see this, but it seems that it is a decision that Samsung has taken even in its cheaper devices. So you have to buy a charger separately, and again, acquire the original Samsung charger can become a headache. Then always the most advisable will be to purchase it in the official Samsung stores. But if not, you can also look for a charger with power delivery and will be compatible with this device. This device is very slow to open applications. In my test, it took 9 seconds on average to open an application. That's an exaggerated time, so it really is a very slow device. And if you open a lot of apps, it's not able to keep them open in the background. Generally, you're going to see a lot of app restarts, a lot of slowness, stumbles when you're moving around in apps or in the system, so that's a point that can be nerve-wracking for a lot of people. And if you wanted to play, really, my experience was bad, not only because the processor is not very powerful, but because at least in my unit has a problem. The modem that when you are playing is disconnected from the internet, then reconnects, then disconnects and reconnects. And definitely online games cannot run well on this device. I hope this is just a problem I had with my unit, but you guys let me know in the comments. If something I didn't mention either for good or bad, it means it is average, which is just between what one would expect on a device of this price point. If you already bought it, let me know in the comments what you thought of it. This way other users will also be able to learn about your own experiences to decide whether to buy it or not. For the moment, we have reached the end of this video. If you liked it, you know you can let me know, and we'll see you next time.